Welcome to Chanel. The latest several Russian tanks were put out of action as they tried to drive through a minefield in eastern Ukraine, according to new footage. In a video shared by Russian opposition outlet granny.ru on Twitter, at least 4 Russian vehicles, described as a mixture of tanks and armored personnel carriers, can be seen moving through a minefield. An explosion then engulfs a vehicle, followed by another blast that hits a second vehicle. Military personnel can then be seen exiting the vehicles before the clip cuts to another explosion that appears to be at the same scene. Further explosions affect another 2 vehicles in the clip, which has been viewed 250,000 times. The location is listed as Donetsk, which has seen heavy fighting in recent weeks. Newsweek could not independently confirm the location. However, Rob Lee, a PhD student in the Department of War Studies at King's College London, shared several clips via Twitter of Russian tanks damaged by mines. A number of these clips described the location as Vuhledar, a town in Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast. The footage follows an intelligence update report on February 10 by the British Defence Ministry that said Russian units likely fled and abandoned at least 30 mostly intact armoured vehicles in a single incident after a failed assault. On Monday, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces shared a clip of what it described as footage of a Ukrainian drone targeting a Russian tank. The clip shows the perspective of the operator of the unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, with the General Staff praising the successful combat work of the UAV operators. Ukraine's tally comes in higher than many Western estimates. On Monday, Dutch open-source intelligence outlet Oryx said that Russian forces have lost 1,727 tanks since February, using photographic and videographic evidence. According to Oryx, 1,017 Russian tanks have been destroyed, 78 damaged and a further 85 abandoned. Ukrainian forces have captured 547 by this count, although Oryx said the true count will be significantly higher than recorded on its platform. On February 9, the Institute for the Study of War think tank said Russia had lost around half of the tanks it had committed to Ukraine at the start of the invasion, citing Oryx data. Russian tank was blown up by a landmine on a battlefield in Ukraine, moments before another suffered the exact same fate, in the latest display of incompetence by Vladimir Putin's military captured on camera. The clip emerged as Russian forces inched closer to Bakhmut over the weekend, with the Wagner private military company claiming to have captured a village on the outskirts of the Ukrainian city. The PMC said its assault units seized Krasna Gora on Sunday, posting footage of its soldiers at what appeared to be the entrance to the settlement found 4 miles to the north of the city, which has been at the center of a fierce months-long battle. But Russia's slow progress has been made at a huge cost. Britain's Ministry of Defense said on Sunday the Russian armed forces have likely suffered their highest casualties in the last 7 days since the first week of the invasion. Ukrainian and Western officials have repeatedly warned that Russia could launch a new, broad offensive in the country's east to try to turn the tide of the conflict as the war approaches the 1-year mark. Ukrainian officials say it has already begun, but that Moscow is having trouble mounting such an assault. Footage from Vuhledar in recent days has shown Russian tanks and soldiers coming under attack from Ukrainian artillery. In a new clip that emerged this morning, 2 Russian tanks were shown being blown to pieces by Ukrainian mines. The video, captured by a drone, shows a Russian T-80 tank rolling across a crater-covered minefield field. Suddenly, a plume of smoke appears where the tank had been moments earlier, after driving over an explosive. A second tank is seen coming up the rear, but as the crew pulls the vehicle up alongside the wreckage of the first armored vehicle, it also hits a mine. Another huge explosion erupts from underneath the tank, blasting bits of metal far into the air. The tank continues rolling and steers off to the left, before stopping.